Hey, this is going to be a little breakdown of a sound I made using PxNoise. Slightly unfortunate name, but that's how it's pronounced in the original Japanese, so yep. So, if I show you this here, what you want to do is download the whole PxNoise folder, and in it you'll get a few different things. You'll get a music tracker, the thing that we're using now for making sound effects, and a couple others. This is for playing sounds, and this is for creating instrument files. If you want it to be in English, because by default it's in Japanese, if you have a look at this, it says just delete the file japanese.ico, which is this one here. I haven't deleted it, I've just renamed it, but when I open it, it now shows everything in English. Cool. So, we've got 4 different layers, all playing a sound at the same time. And here we've got our 3 different oscillators, I suppose you could say. You got the one that you hear, you got one for frequency modulation, and one for volume modulation, sorry. And they've all got the same controls. You can pick the waveform type, a nice little reference on the right hand side. You can reverse the waveform, you can choose a frequency, and so on and so forth. Up here we got our envelope section, which is a bit interesting. And down here, I'll say, this is quite important, this is how long the whole file is. So right now, the build quality we're on, we're going to make a stereo file at 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit, and I think you can change that in here. There you go. So if we want a 1 second file, 1 second long, there you go. So this is the sound I've got. The first layer of it is an explosion. Here, in this window, we can see the waveform. See, I've got quite a lot of empty space on the end here, so really I should optimize it and make it a bit shorter, but it's fine for now. And I've got a random 2 wave. If I were to change it to random 1, well, if I were to change it to sine, then I'm sure you can guess what would happen. There you are. Check out all the different waves, they've all got different sounds, but random is a bit lower and boomier. Random 2 is a bit crunchier, I like this one. If I were to reverse it, nothing really happens. This is going to be handy for frequency modulation and volume automation, but for an audible wave it doesn't do anything. And then you can change the pitch center here. So 3520, if I change it down to, there you go. This is just how loud it is, and the offset of the wave, we'll get to that in a minute. So if we have a look at the envelope, this is a bit interesting because we've got 3 points at which you can choose the actual volume and how long it takes for it to get to that volume. So what this is saying is it's going to be at 100% volume and it'll take no time to get there. So we've got an instant attack. If I were to change this to 0.5, it would take half a second to go from 0 to 100. And you can see it in here as well. So if I change that back to this, so it's taking 0.6 seconds to get to 15% of its original volume, and then it's taking a whole second after that to go from 15 to 0, so it kind of lingers at a low level. Cool. I've got some frequency modulation on this one. I've got a sawtooth wave going down, and it is going at this frequency and with this strength. So if I were to change this to 0, you wouldn't hear any frequency modulation. If I put this back to, well, let's put it to 60, why not? That's a bit too much for me, so back to 20. And then this is the offset of the wave. So let's say I wanted it to start at this point, not at this point. I could change this to 50%. And then you hear it wraps around. You can hear it goes like that. So if I put this back to 0, yes please. And then I've got some volume automation. So a sine wave, 3 Hz, doing a little bit of tremolo, basically. If I change this to 100, there you go, it's proper tremolo. You can go back to 20. And then, yeah, I've got other layers doing similar stuff. Layer 2 and layer 3, they're panned to the right and to the left, with slightly different fade in and fade out times, 0.2 seconds, 0.3 seconds. So if we play them together, That's quite nice. And they've got lots of frequency modulation, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then number 4 is a classic sine drop, kind of kick drum kind of thing. And I'm using this at quite a high frequency to give it that delay style effect. There we go. And what I've done in this one, I've actually got a rectangle wave here, and I've offset it to 91%. So if this is 0%, 91% would be around here. So after a little bit of time, it will suddenly go from 0, because I'm on 100% strength, immediately up to here. So it's giving it the effect of a staggered start. And these two having different things, it goes left, right. Very nice. Now what I should do really is make them both the same. So this is 0.3 Hertz, I'll do the same here. And then I want this one to start sooner. So if this one's starting at 91% of the way through, this one will be, let's say, 94. Very nice. So there we go, all together. Whoops. Not bad. Could do with some tweaking, but cool.